project specifically, as Roland mentioned, is based on a manga that, at least amongst a certain generation and a certain deeper fan, is very highly regarded. The manga creator is, even in Tokyo and beyond, in Japan, is known as sort of an underground artist. I wouldn't be surprised if those of you who are big manga fans had not even heard of him. But he is worth seeking out, and I'm just going to make a plug for Tech on Concrete was recently re-released as a manga in all-in-one edition, and it's really one of the best things that I've ever seen in a re-release in years, and it was beautifully done by Viz, so I would highly recommend you look for that.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, which is that obviously there are anime and manga that just cross so many different boundaries, right? In Japan especially, you can walk into a shop in Tokyo, and especially in Akihabara, which is the sort of center of pop and electronics culture in Tokyo, and you can find manga on anything. You can find manga for chefs, manga for music lovers. There's actually a manga right now in which the main character is a bacterium. What's it called? Somebody. Yeah. Sorry? That's right, Tales of Agriculture, also an anime. Yeah, excellent, man. Thank you. Yeah, so you really can't stop the mind. It just keeps going and going and going.
And it's the readership.
Yes, exactly.
It's not uncommon to be sitting in a subway, and the majority of the people reading manga are actually middle-aged women.
Right, that's right. And manga, of course, is also in Japan being distributed via cell phone. So a lot of the fans are now downloading their favorite manga titles and reading them on the train home on their cell phone screens. Tragedy, yeah. It's a bit of a challenge because of the pipeline, it's still not wide enough or fast enough so that the dialogue actually comes up in pop-ups. So you can't fully see the graphics as you're reading the dialogue, which is a problem. But I'm told in Japan that give it a year or two and we'll have the pipeline and no more pop-ups, and you'll be able to see the whole thing crisply on your screen. So it's an enormously protean art form in Japan, and even over here. And I just want to follow up on what Anthony's saying. You can fall in love with Naruto or Bleach or One Piece or Death Note and so on, and those are all, in their ways extraordinary. But you can also discover artists like Taiyo Matsumoto, who made Tech on Concrete. You can go to Takehiko Inoue. Some of you may have heard of him. He actually did a beautiful mural for the Kinokuniya bookstore here in New York City and did a kind of live painting exhibition when he was over here. You can also discover these kind of auteurs, if you will, artists working in the manga and anime mediums who are really working at a very, very high level and aiming to make high art, really, with their works. So, and Tech on Concrete easily qualifies in that category. I want to turn it over to, and we'll get to some questions. I saw a hand raised. I actually want you guys to talk a lot. So I just want to quickly turn over to Clyde. Clyde was sort of identified in New York Magazine only a few months ago. Time Out New York, sorry. Time Out New York as the Mr. Otaku of New York City. Literally, it was this two-page spread where the reporter basically followed Clyde around New York City saying, all right, what do we do if we want to go beyond Hello Kitty? And Clyde was the guy. Clyde was the Virgil, if you will, to the reporter's Dante. So Clyde, I want to ask you, just give you a chance to talk about what you've seen. You've been a fan for a number of years now, and yet, as we've just been saying, it has really exploded more recently. What are your thoughts on that?
I have a couple remarks. Actually, I'd like to get down in front to make them. This is not my style, sitting behind a table.
Okay, sure.
If any of you have seen my presentations before, you know it's not my style.
So we'll give Clyde a couple of minutes to leap over the hump. So go around too.
Out of curiosity, how many people here were at my panel yesterday? One or two. And at least 4 Metro Anime Club members here. I'd like to talk to you after the panel. Please don't go away. Now, the